Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. And today we got a little rankings show for you. Got quarterbacks and running backs today. We'll go through them, see if we've learned anything from now 2 weeks in the NFL season. I'm not really sure if we have, but maybe a couple players that we start to hopefully think we know about. Before we get into that, make sure you check us out on Twitter at the FF Prophet. We're on Instagram at fantasyfootballprophet, and the website's fantasyfootballprophet.com. Me and Jeff haven't gone over these ranks together, so don't know where we have anybody. So it's going to be interesting again to go over the list. All right, Jeff, let's start it off. Is Aaron Rodgers still your number one quarterback?
Indeed he is.
Yes. I'm not changing much there in my top of my quarterbacks right now.
No.
It's still Aaron Rodgers, number one. Are you sticking with Brady, number two?
I got Brady, number two.
All right, so do I. So we're still the same 1-2. It's Rodgers, Brady. We don't really need to go over it too much. You don't even have to worry about matchups too much with these guys. I mean, maybe a little bit, but if you have them on your team, you're playing them. So there's really no reason to even think about it much. So who's your number three?
I'm going Matt Ryan.
Okay, I wondered if that would be Ryan there, and that's what I'm going to, actually. Okay. But maybe we're wrong on that. It's just like you see that, and it's the Lions, like, oh, he's going to have a good day. Lions have been pretty decent so far, but I don't know if they played good offenses. So, I'm going to go with Ryan there, too. And this Falcons offense has been good, very good. I don't see any reason why they can't sustain it. And the Lions defense has been okay, but it's still... I think they're going to be able to pass all over them if they want. So I'm going with Ryan. Then number four, still got Drew Brees up there?
Still got Brees.
All right, so do I. So still Brees. We kind of knew, go through the four quick because that's pretty much how it's going to be.
Yeah, and then after that, that's where it starts getting a little jumbled. But those guys all had pretty good weeks last week. There's not a whole lot to worry about.
Yeah, it's just you're starting them. If you have them, you're starting them. And so there's no worries there. It's pretty much after these guys that might not be guaranteed starts anymore. It switches week to week. Who's number five? Who do you got?
He is crawled up my board, and that is actually Matthew Stafford.
Okay, Stafford.
I think with Matt Ryan having a good game, Matthew Stafford will have to throw a lot, and he, in return get quite a few points. So I like the way he's been playing, recently as well. So not a whole lot to dislike about Matthew Stafford at the moment.
Yeah, and I don't have him fifth, but I have him seventh. So he's up there. He's definitely moved up. It's up from where we ranked him early on. He's shown so far that against two should be good defenses, especially passing defenses. Arizona and the Giants have both supposed to be pretty good going into the year, and they've done pretty well. So Atlanta, on the other hand, isn't something necessarily too great defensive-wise. They're getting better. They're definitely better. They've improved quite a bit, but still, it's not elite level yet. So I think Stafford could have a good day. So yeah, he's my seventh. But my fifth was Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay, he's my seventh.
Okay, so going against Chicago, haven't seen much from him. And, I don't see 2 weeks in a row where Antonio Brown doesn't get going. And I don't see another week where Bell doesn't get going. So I think the offense as a whole just has to get going here. So I'm going to think Roethlisberger is going to benefit some from that. So that's going to put him on my fifth. I don't think you can go wrong with that. He has too many weapons. If Bryant continues to play well, get some big, long touchdowns, it could be a pretty good week.
I hate that this creeps in my head, but I have to, he's seventh, right? So I really like him this week. But at the same time, he's playing at Chicago, and there's always that worry that when he's not home, he's going to really screw it up or something. But obviously, he's still seventh for me, but it's one of those things that as soon as he starts to do poorly, I'm like, oh, he's not home.
You just wait for that game.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait for that. It's not going to be every week, but once in a while, if he has a bad game, it probably will be a road game. It won't be every road game, but most likely that's what will happen, but I don't think it's going to be Chicago. All right, so then those are our fifth and seventh. So who's the sixth, Jeff? Did we end up with the same sixth-ranked player? Probably not.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting too similar on this. And again, Derek Carr had a great week. Washington, not a great defense. I don't think anybody would say they're a great defense. So Carr looked really good. He's been almost. We both liked Carr going into the year. I mean, you were probably a little higher on Carr than I was. Maybe I think we were similar, but he's shown that he can throw the ball to not. I mean, Crabtree's getting all those catches. and just think if Cooper steps up, but he's throwing the ball all around. The offense is looking good. I don't see it stopping. I think Carr's going to be a safe option for most of the year. He's going to have that one bad week, I'm sure, at some point. Most players do. Carr's going to be no exception to that, but I think it's going to be a good one for him. So we got the same top 7 players, essentially. So let's pick and choose here. Where do you got Russell Wilson? I know you're just not the Russell Wilson fan.
Well,
where is he?
Let's be honest. I've been correct so far, but he is number 16 for me.
Oh, jeez. No.
Why? I mean, there's so many other guys.
I have no reason.
So many other guys that should be above him right now.
I don't have a good argument. I just don't.
I just like the guy.
I do. I think Russell Wilson himself is, extremely talented, but that offensive line is so poor.
Yes, and
he has
Watkins
no time.
is a great wide receiver, but he gets the ball thrown to him by Jared Goff.
That's tomorrow's episode. We'll talk about that another day. Jeez.
I tell you, I mean, my list, and I actually do. Instead of picking out, I just want to run down them because they really got.
Okay, I'm curious.
They really got shaken up last week. It became a little more clear. I know you're going to argue with me on a few.
So starting at 8, where do we got?
So at number 8, I actually have Cam Newton.
All right.
Which I don't like Cam Newton, but New Orleans have looked terrible. Then I have Phillip Rivers against KC. Mm-hmm. Number 10, Simeon is actually there.
Wow.
I know. And I realize I still don't think he's the greatest quarterback, but he's on Denver. They're doing really well. He's getting touchdowns with limited amount of yardage thrown. And Buffalo hasn't been up against anyone yet, so we don't know how good they are. So he slips in there. How about you? What's 8, 9, and 10 for you?
8, 9, and 10. 8, Kirk Cousins. My 8.
Dude, I can't. I'm really proud of you, but I'm actually.
It's Oakland. It's just because Oakland's hasn't been great.
I hope
pass
so.
defense.
I've been low on Kirk because he broke my heart so quick.
I put Rivers 9th, and I put Cam Newton 10th.
Okay.
So again, relatively similar.
Yours is how my heart wants to go.
All right, I'll go after this. 11th, I went Russell Wilson, so he's up there at 11th. Then I went Jameis, Mariota, Dak, Carson Wentz. Then Simeon is my 16th.
Oh wow!
Yep. So where do you got there?
I feel like. All right, I have number 11, Winston. I have Wentz at 12, and then Kirk Cousins at 13. And this is where it gets really actually not that bad. I don't feel bad about it at all. I was going to say I feel bad, but. Jay Cutler going against the Jets at number 14.
Right, so, I can see it. He's my 17th.
Yeah, and then I have Mariota at 15. Going against Seattle, he hasn't been doing that great lately. Just a bad matchup, and he hasn't been that sharp. So,
yeah, there's not a lot of great matchups down here either that are really going to stand out for us.
Mm-mm.
So
no, not at all.
That's kind of what. So we talked about it. In the waiver show, there's just not a great streaming option, maybe.
I mean, every time you look for Indy as well, right? They're struggling like crazy, but Kaiser's going against them. You look for Cleveland, I don't even know who's throwing against them. I mean, it's Indiana.
Yeah, so there's nothing. I mean, quarterbacks, I don't even think we need to talk about it too much. It's just kind of, it's what it is right now. And that middle tier, like we thought before the year, is the same thing. It's just that middle tier, and it switches every week once you get around. Right now, it's our top 4. After our top 4, you can go 5 through 16, 17 and just switch them all up. It's crazy right now. It's just those will all be matchup plays. So, and Russell Wilson, hopefully he'll step up. I mean, come on. The offensive line.
Man, I just can't trust him.
I understand it. I have him on my team. He was my starter. But I think that might be switching because I did decide to – I don't like getting 2 quarterbacks, but I picked up Stafford because of it. And I think Stafford's the play now, the way he's been doing. He just seems to have a better offense.
Yeah, he has, and he's been doing really, really well. I mean, he's actually I don't know after they finished, but he had that big week 1, and then week 2 he looked pretty solid.
He's solid because Giants have a really good passing defense, so anything is pretty solid there. So it's a good matchup. I think we just move on to running backs. Quarterbacks are just always you never really have to talk too much about them. So running back wise, despite the bad weeks, is it still Bell and Elliott, or did he switch it around?
Yeah, I switched it around. I actually have Bell number 1, right?
Okay.
I think anyone is going against Chicago. I shouldn't say anyone because he hasn't been performing as well as we had hoped. But I still have Bell number 1. And I actually have Ajayi number 2.
All right.
Going against the Jets, and he looked really good last week. So
he's going to get the amount of work that he needs to be up there.
Yeah.
So Bell's my number 1. I kept Zeke at number 2. I think they're too good. And Ajayi's my number 3. So a good matchup with a player who's going to get plenty of carries. How can you go wrong? If he's going to get 20-some carries every week, he's going to be a top 10 at worst player. He's going to be a top 5 most weeks, I think. So I'm going to keep him up there. So here's my top 5. Bell, Elliott, Ajayi, Todd Gurley, number 4, and Kareem Hunt, number 5, which just feels weird. This top 5 feels weird after how we started the year.
Yeah, and I just mixed them around, but I actually have the same top 5. So Bell, Ajayi, Elliott, then Kareem Hunt, which I thought both of them were actually close this week a little bit. And then I have Gurley, but once again, he looked good, but he's going against San Fran.
Yep.
So he has a great matchup as well.
The only worry maybe will be it's a Thursday night. Those Thursday night games just usually aren't as good. Less rest. I think he'll be fine this early in the season, so I'm not too worried about it. Then I have McCoy down at 6th, and it's just that's as hot. He's playing against Denver, so maybe he should be lower.
I actually have him all the way down at number 11.
What they did to Zeke was pretty eye-opening.
Yeah, that's what really freaks me out. And McCoy coming off of
and he had a bad week
anyway. Ranking me at 11th felt wrong. It really did. But at the same time, I was looking at everyone above him, and I was like, man, all these guys have performed. Actually, there's going to be one guy you disagree with me on that's above him. But other than that, everyone above him has been a consistent contributor and getting the majority of the carries. So.
All right, so then who do you got there? Who's your 6 through 10? Because if you have
6 through 10, yeah. So number 10 you're going to disagree with. But number 6, I have Devontae Freeman against Detroit. Who's going to argue with that? The guy's been great. Number 7, Ty Montgomery, which has been just impressing me every single week. So I have him at 7th. Melvin Gordon at number 8. He's going against KC, so I kind of pushed him back just a little. C.J. Anderson comes in at number 9. I don't want to bank on the fact that he was so dominant last week. I don't want to put him up too much higher. And then I have Mike Gillislee at number 10, who, he's not a better back than these guys, but it looks like he's going to get a touchdown every single week. And that just buoys him to a pretty decent, it looks like he's going to get 10 points every week.
If he gets the amount of carries he did last week, if that continues, then yeah. If he gets the amount of carries plus the touchdown ability,
and it's going to be hard to argue with it. I think also they could probably get up on them, and then they could just use him to pound it out and run.
I'm not ready to go there with him, but I have him 16th, so that's still an increase from where I did.
Still creeping up.
He is getting up there because if he's going to get the good amount of carries he's completely the goal line back. We know that. So if he gets carries along with it, I get it. All right.
What are yours?
I went, after McCoy at 6, I went Freeman 7th. I went Gordon 8th, C.J. Anderson 9th, and Carlos Hyde at number 10.
Okay. I like that. Actually, so we're really, really close on a lot of them, too. So you had C.J. Anderson jump up just like I did.
Yep.
We both believed in him, but not to the extent of what that last week showed. How much is this a reaction from last week? How much is this, do you think, maybe this is a regression, but he was just so good last week? Like, how good do you feel about putting him there?
I feel pretty good because I feel like, again, this is a guy who looks like he's going to get the majority of the workload. He's the guy. Charles is coming in there a little bit, but it's C.J. Anderson's team. It's C.J. Anderson's going to run the ball. And it's not like we haven't seen it from C.J. Anderson in the past. There's been flashes before. 2014, he was great at the end of the year. Then he had the 2 years. It's kind of been, who knows? It was injuries? I don't know. It's hard to say what happened with him all the time. But if he's going to get this amount of work, he's going to be a top 10 back every week. Because, again, there's not many of those guys out there. So if he's going to get this many carries, and there's still, Simeon's been solid, but I think they still want to run the ball, and they want to do that first. They still would trust the running game a little bit more than they trust Simeon. But with a defense that good, this is the kind of, they can do this. They can play great defense and run the ball, and it's going to benefit Anderson. So I'm going to keep him up there. And then Hyde, I'll put that's the next guy. Everyone was down on Hyde. And all that preseason talk, and it started to creep into our minds because it's like, geez, what's really going on here? Because originally we ranked him higher. I think we both lowered him a little bit.
Say really high.
And he looked pretty good. He's clearly the guy there. They're not giving many other people work, so I don't know what that preseason talk was.
No, like we said, I think it was to light a fire on him, but it sounded really negative.
It did. It was worrisome.
I don't know what that was.
Definitely worrisome. All right, some other guys. Crowell. He's been disappointing, but with going against the Colts, you have to get him up there this week.
I have him at 16th.
Okay. Yep, I have him at 14th right now, which still he probably maybe go higher. I've been really disappointed in how he's played, so I'm not going to trust it completely. But I think he's a start. He's still a start.
Actually, yeah, I think I would actually. I'm going to make one move here. I'm going to move him up one, so at 15th actually, because I had Delvin Cook right before him, and I don't love him. I just Tampa Bay. I feel like with Bradford back in the lineup, assuming.
Yep.
And, you think that he would. It would help him out a bit, but
Yeah, he's one spot ahead of Dalvin Cook in my mind and my ranks here. I like Dalvin Cook a little better, but Crowell is a better matchup. I put Tyler Montgomery 12th. You had him a little higher, but he's becoming that kind of player too. Then Fournette. What do you do with Fournette? Baltimore's been good. It looks like it's the London game this week. Is that right? They're playing in London, 9:30.
Yep.
So that's an interesting one always. But he's pretty much guaranteed to be the main guy. But if they get down, they're not going to be able to run him.
Yeah, and Baltimore did look good. I still have him ranked up there. I have him 13th.
Okay.
I think it was just you go any lower than that, you hit Lynch, Crowell, Delvin Cook, and I would still play Fournette over those guys.
Yeah, I have him 11th. Guess again, it's more of a guaranteed. He's the main back there. He's going to get the majority of the work. Baltimore's been good, but they're still not a great team. So maybe the Jaguars will do something here. That's where I'm going to keep that. All right, DeMarco Murray. Where did you throw DeMarco Murray this week? We don't really know his injury concern. We don't know what's going to happen with that yet. But even assuming he's playing, where are you putting him?
Well, they're going against Seattle, and if they're already banged up, it doesn't sound very good. But I have DeMarco Murray at number 24.
Okay.
And then I have Derrick Henry at 29th.
All right.
So right now it's a very murky picture.
Yeah, it is.
I'm kind of hoping I find out more. If one of them, if Murray is not going to play, even against Seattle, Derrick Henry will obviously jump up to at least where Murray is. But the Seattle's just it's a tough place. So, or a tough team to play. They're playing in Tennessee, I believe. But I don't know. I mean, do you feel better about one of them? Where do you?
No, I have Murray 19th and Henry 23rd. So I have them slightly higher than you do, but kind of the same kind of thing. Obviously, if we hear later on in the week, if Murray's really out, I think Henry jumps up a little bit. Not crazy, though, because it's still Seattle. He doesn't go up a lot. He goes up. He's top 20 probably for me, but that's about it. But even if there wasn't the Henry concern of Henry playing over him, I'm worried about the matchup and how bad Murray's looked. So I'm going to keep him down there. What about Jordan Howard? Are you ranking him assuming he's playing right now?
Yeah, I'm ranking him assuming he's playing. So
ranking him assuming he's playing, where'd you put him? How bad does this feel, Jeff?
This is just me fessing up to. Right now, it looks like my biggest mistake of the ranking in the preseason. But Jordan Howard right now is ranked 25th for me.
All right.
He's going, okay, and let me explain this one a little bit, because I actually ranked Tariq Cohen above him. They're going against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is going to outscore them by quite a bit. So you're going to have the guy that's going to be able to catch passes in the backfield a lot more. So I think Tariq Cohen is going to get a lot more playing time than Jordan Howard, and hence why he outranks him by 5 spots already.
I have Howard 20th, and I have Cohen 25th.
So, we just flip-flopped.
And I'm holding out that Howard's still going to be the main guy there. Cohen, he
gets one red zone carry.
Yeah.
He gets a touchdown, and then you're golden.
I just can't. I don't picture Cohen as an every down main back, and I see that as.
Believe me, I don't either.
Howard can't go away.
Do you think that Pittsburgh is just going to bury them though?
Yeah, probably.
After last week, that's how I feel is going to happen. So I'm banking it on me being able to guess the game flow. That's why I flip flopped them.
Yeah, and that's probably about right. If that you might be more right than I am on that. If that chart changes like we think it could be a Cohen game. And especially in PPR, Cohen's definitely jumped up there. We don't rank PPR, but he'd be up there a lot higher.
Yeah, he would be.
Yeah,
but like you said, at the same time, he gets one goal line carry, he gets a touchdown in the first, half when they're still in it. It doesn't really matter. It kind of negates my whole thinking, but
yeah, I'm just trying to. I'm almost staying away right now completely. So what are you doing? If you're a Jordan Howard owner, I don't really know any Jordan Howard owners here.
Who would be that then?
what are you doing? Are you just putting him in? Is he just playing? If he's healthy, we're just, of course, assuming health. We
assuming
don't.
Healthy.
If he's out, then that's an easy decision. But if he's healthy, what do you do? Do you play him? I think most people have to with their lineups.
He would be hard to sit. That's for sure. You would have to have a pretty loaded backfield.
Yep. So let's just throw a team out there. Let's say they got like Melvin Gordon,
obviously
Jordan Howard. Maybe they have Mike Gillislee on their team.
Son of a
and so they're definitely going to start. I'd say Gordon and Gillislee, obviously.
Right.
So let's say they're looking at a flex spot. Are they going to start a Jordan Howard, or would they maybe look at a Derrick Henry? Or do you go down that's what you have to do, or is there another wide receiver you like?
I was going to say Derrick Henry would have been. I know this is one of my teams, but Derrick Henry would have been in the running if he wasn't going against Seattle. But if DeMarco Murray comes out, all of a sudden he's in play, right? So he would actually be a spot ahead of him. And to be honest, I think I would actually go Derrick Henry.
If DeMarco's out, yeah.
If DeMarco's out. He would edge him out just a bit by how he ran the ball last week. But once again, I mean, it's going to be hard to sit Howard. I don't see too many other people. That's the thing. If you're in a flex position, though, you probably have a wide receiver you kind of like out there. That's probably more of a wild card. So then I'm banking on who has a better chance of catching it or running a touchdown.
Yep. All right, I'm going to pick and choose some other guys just to see where we have. Chris Carson. How would you put him in the ranks? Because he's an interesting one.
Yeah, I hate that one so much, but I have him at 27th, assuming assuming a lot.
I have him actually at 27th.
Oh, nice.
I did the exact same thing. I have him at 27th. He's one spot behind Jacquizz Rodgers, one spot ahead of Terrence West. So right in that range.
Okay.
It's just I think he's going to have more guaranteed work. What about a Chris Thompson after what he did last week? Are you ranking him at all up there?
Yeah, I have him at 31st.
Okay.
As I like to say, hedging my bets on him. I've seen it 1 week. I think he's the most interesting running back on that team. But then again, I don't really know what's going on with the rest of that backfield yet. So that's another one that's probably going to come a little more clear. Yeah.
Yep. And then Joe Mixon. He's fallen off the ranks for us, basically. But where do you put him this week? Do you move him back up? Or are you thinking he's going to get more of the work?
Actually, he's right. He's actually behind Chris Thompson, so I have him at number 32.
Okay, I have them at 29 and 30. So we're right there. I think I'm certain to think with the offensive coordinator change with Cincinnati, maybe they give Mixon more of the work. I think Jeremy Hill's no good. So
yeah, I mean he definitely hasn't been pressing.
No. So another guy we skipped over. What about Buck Allen? Where'd you put him?
Buck Allen.
How high did he go?
He is climbing. I really kind of like the guy. He's not spectacular by any means, but I just think he's way safer than all these other guys. So I actually have him at 21.
I have him 17th.
Oh, wow. You're even higher than I am.
Yep. One spot ahead of Lamar Miller. Lamar Miller.
Thank goodness.
Man, I don't know about some. This is a weird. Isn't this weird how quickly this changes?
Yeah, it changed drastically. Who do you have? Actually, really interesting, I find interesting, is old man Frank Gore, right? He's on a terrible team. He found his way into the end zone last week, but he's going against Cleveland. Where did you rank him?
Frank Gore.
You're like, didn't rank him.
32nd.
Okay, not the worst. I
just keep him around that range.
Yeah.
And that's about what I do with him. And the rest, got to wait and see. Our ranks will change as we get further in the week when we know more situations, more injuries. I'm done with Adrian Peterson. He's 38th for me. That might even be too high.
Actually, I have him all the way down at 45th.
Yeah, it makes sense. I get it. Right. I don't know. I don't think he's going to do much.
That's probably too low, honestly.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think that was an anger move. I was like, you're not living up to anything.
I don't know if it is, but I think that's all I got for running backs. Any other ones that stand out?
Where did you put Samaje Perine?
Right now I have him 34th, just because I don't know. I'm gonna even if Kelly's out, honestly, he's not gonna move much up from that. He didn't show a lot for me last week, so
I have him in the same range. I just wondered because he got so many carries last week. Yep. We don't know about Rob Kelly necessarily, but
yeah, I don't think he's gonna change. But I think I wouldn't play him. I just wouldn't feel comfortable with playing him. He didn't show. He has to show something. He didn't show much. So, all right, I think that's all I got. Another little quick rankings edition of the show. There's just not much at this point. It's harder to. There's still these situations that are just sorting themselves out. So we have a lot of them to figure out here. And we just, Seattle's running backs, the Cincinnati running backs, New Orleans running backs. There's so many of these. It's just, we don't know anything yet. And who knows? We might not know anything all year. So hopefully we find something out. But we'll be back tomorrow with wide receivers and tight ends, and we'll talk to you guys then.